Hey, it's Adrian. Just before we get you to this episode, do me a favor and head over to pageantlaunch.com. We are starting the world's first dedicated pageant review site to make the pageant industry safe, transparent, and fair. Three things that I know it is most of the time, but it's not like that all of the time. So head over to pageantlaunch.com, enter your email address, it's completely free, and let's get you to this episode.
Are you dropping it on Danielle?
For some reason, the software normally when the intro jingle plays mutes people. It decided not to mute Danielle. So Danielle, everyone heard you say, "Are we live?" It's like, yes, it wasn't Danielle. I don't know why it didn't mute her. Like it should mute her most of the time. But oh God. I will say it is nice to be on with a special guest who sort of is as low maintenance as we are. Our special guest, Meghan Kenney, Miss Grand New Zealand. I can't do a New Zealand accent. I'm not going to try. 2017. Meg, hello. Where are you? How are you?
Hello. I am in a random cabin at a lake in Missouri, America at the moment. That's where I am.
Yeah, it's not Missouri, New Zealand, Missouri in the United States.
Missouri in America, yeah. This is my 13th state now. I've been doing a bit of a avoiding people road trip in America. Yeah.
Avoiding people because of their politics, avoiding people because of their stupidity, or avoiding people because of Corona?
Because of Corona. So I have to get my COVID test quite a lot. So for people who didn't watch my interview last time, I'm in America because I'm an egg donor. So I actually start my injections on Friday, but I had to come here for like about 7 weeks because when I first arrived, I had to have like genetic tests and stuff. So I had a bunch of time to kill in America, and I hired a massive ute, and I've just been road tripping around like all of the national parks in like Utah and like Yellowstone and Rocky Mountain and Yosemite and stuff like that. So yeah.
So amazing. So not jealous that you're getting to travel at the moment. Who wants to travel? Not me.
I'm literally having the best 2020, and I feel like everyone else is having such a bad year, and I've gone to like 30 countries, and I'm like,
not in 2020, just in 2020. Surely not in 2020.
No.
Almost. I've done 32 countries in the last year, like as of today. So
okay, in the last year, yeah. Well, some of that was
I did
November.
Yeah, I did a motorbike tour around Europe over summer. So I cleaned up most of the Europe countries this year in 2020. And then I did Turkey and then America as part of this trip. So
have you done Ireland yet?
No, I haven't. I got left
Why
off
would
of
anyone want to do
trip.
Ireland?
I know.
After being through all of Europe, it'll be a low light.
No, so Chloe, don't worry. I'm buying a motorbike when I get back, getting my license, and I'm gonna ride up to from the bottom of Ireland all the way up to Northern Ireland. It's meant to have amazing roads for motorbikeing.
Oh yeah,
you've got to do a little vlog, Meg.
Love it.
You've got like Ewan McGregor going around with his motorcycle.
I know. I'm so useless at stuff like that. Like I get really into posting on Instagram when I'm traveling, and then at some point you're just tired and you kind of just want to enjoy what you're doing, and then I fall behind, and then I'm so far behind that I just don't even bother. So I would be a useless vlogger.
Just turn the camera on and do a little bit every day. Sometimes the least prepared stuff is the funniest.
Yeah, take a GoPro and just live in the moment.
Yeah, I have a GoPro, and I'm gonna have a drone because I want to get one of those drones that follows you like automatically, and that way.
Yeah, so my friend has that.
Yeah, so that'll be my goal. I will endeavor to vlog, but no guarantees.
That'd be so. I mean, you got all the gear for it. As I say, all the gear, no idea. You've got a drone, you've got the GoPro, you're set for it.
Yeah.
And you're able to travel, unlike me, who's basically a prisoner in Australia, which is a very nice prison, don't get me wrong. But bloody Kiwis, always Kiwis. Actually,
New Zealand
Fun-
can't really travel.
yeah, I know. Fun question though. Why are New Zealanders called Kiwis? I don't actually know. It's a bird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's our national
the
bird
fruit.
is the kiwi. No,
That's right.
well, we have the kiwi fruit, but our national bird is also the
Yeah.
kiwi, and it's a freaking ridiculous bird. It is like the weirdest bird.
Yeah, it's so weird.
So
looking. It's a long
it can't
beak.
fly. It has like a massive body, and its egg is. I think the kiwi has the largest egg to body ratio of any egg-laying animal. It basically, that entire big bit there is like all egg.
That's gotta be
And-
painful.
Oh,
yeah.
Ow. Nah.
So it's basically a walking egg with a beak.
Yeah,
It's a fairy egg.
that's what it is. It's flightless because it we have it's like a legend, a Maori legend about how the bird gave up its wings, and I can't remember it, so now I feel like a bad Kiwi. But we respect the Kiwi. The Kiwi made sacrifices, so we love it. But it is a silly little bird.
It looks so cute.
It is
It
really
does.
cute, yeah. And I think they're relatively endangered. I've only ever seen them in like zoos. They're nocturnal animals.
I like this headline here. Speaking of New Zealanders and Australians, New Zealand Kiwi is not from Australia. That's one thing we never claimed was Australian as a Kiwi. We're not that stupid. We steal everything else, but we're louder than you, so no one will ever know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's Meg, who is a Kiwi. Whereabouts in Kiwiland are you from? I forget.
I've lived in Auckland pretty much my whole life. So I am what they call a Jaffa, which is just another effing Aucklander. They call us Jaffas in the rest of the country.
Thank you for not swearing, Meg.
Yeah.
I even said freaking before. I'm in my best pageant behavior.
That's okay. Freaking's good. Freaking's good. Just not the other F word. Yeah, that'd be. Gee. Oh, sometimes you got to keep people in check, and Aussies and Kiwis are definitely two nations you'd have to keep an eye on. I actually think Cockneys would also be. In fact, the Irish as well. There's a lot of potential alcohol on this podcast. Right here. There's a lot of alcoholic people.
No, stereotypically alcoholic people.
Yeah, New Zealand.
Chloe, from the stories you've told me,
There's no
it's
smoke
not a
without fire.
stereotype. It's not a stereotype. And from a particular WhatsApp message that I got from Danielle after drinking a certain entire bottle of a certain liquid, it's not a stereotype there either. So, and unless you want me to play so that people know I'm not
No.
making it up.
We're good. We are good. We believe
I did
you,
say
let
that,
me.
Danielle, your message, it is so funny. Partly because it's about 5 seconds in before you realize you're recording.
And I'm slurring my words the whole time.
All right. Okay, Michelle here over in Canada, I think, has a question. Not addressed to anyone in particular. So I'll get to that in a second, Michelle. But Chloe, why don't you catch us up with what's been happening with your week? Lovely glasses, by the way. Are they the blue light ones?
Hey, Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's genuinely because I've had the worst migraine again today. It happened several times last week as well. And I think that's due to working from home and looking at two PCs. Just at the weekend there on Friday, we had our second Miss Universe Ireland interview, and they've also released a little project called Unfiltered, where we had a video series released last week, and also this week they released our little baby pictures and our letters to our younger selves, which was so adorable. So it's just one of those weeks that it's just been adorable and uplifting. And I've also tried Danielle's 5 a.m. club a few times this week, and then when I got to like Friday, Saturday, I ended up getting really exhausted. I think I had so much going on between work and the interview and
You've got to listen to your
catwalk
body as
training
well.
and so I hopefully get back into it, but I might slightly adjust it.
Did you say
for,
the 5 a.m. club?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you need an explanation of that? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory.
I already feel like it's something I don't feel the need to be a part of, but
Oh, no, it is good. And you do feel very productive from doing it. But my body did crash. And I just think that was because of multiple things. I've had a pretty busy week. But I do hope to get back into it and slightly adjust it to maybe wake up at 6 a.m. instead of 5 because of my work schedule. But great week.
Whatever suits you, you have to listen to your body. I mean,
There you
like
go.
I said, this morning, I woke up at 5 and I felt like I'd been run over by a train. Like I needed to go back to sleep. I hadn't had enough sleep to begin with. And then the day before I'd ran more than 3 miles and I'd had 7 hours on my feet doing an e-commerce photo shoot. So I was exhausted. So like this morning, I didn't get up at 5. I woke up at 5 and then messaged the group being like, guys, I'm going back to sleep. I actually
were you always a morning person? Or
no.
so you like converted yourself into it? Yeah, because my hesitance is I get called a bed monster. Like I'm just not a functioning person in the morning. So like, did you do 5 a.m. club to turn yourself into a morning person?
Yes. So basically I've had insomnia for years and years, and I've tried every trick in the book. I've tried the pillow sprays. I've tried I like my bedtime tea. I've got the taste for it now. Bedtime teas, candles, soothing music, meditation. I've tried everything to make me go to sleep, and the only thing that forces me to go to sleep is if I know I'm getting up early. So things like if I've got a really early flight, then I'll be up early and I'll be productive because I know I've got something excited to look forward to. Or, you know, that feeling when you wake up on Christmas Day, you wake up earlier than usual. But the aim of this is to make every day Christmas Day, to wake up with that
that's
excitement.
a cute little catchphrase for it. Make every day Christmas Day. I like it.
Literally. It's to be excited about your life, find excitement from your life, and just look forward to what you've got in ahead of the day, because a lot of people live the same day every day, where they wake up dreading to go to work. Oh my god, I've got to get on the tube, or I've got to drive to work, I'm going to be stuck in traffic. Instead of all these negative thoughts, it's like having to reprogram yourself in looking forward to the challenges of the day. There's
that thing of saying, instead of I have to, turn it into I get to. So instead of like I have to do this, it's I get to do this, which is like a really simple, that's something I try to do. With like reprogramming yourself into not having that just inherent negative light on things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool little philosophy.
And there's 6 practices that you do for 10 minutes. And each of those are designed specifically to get you in the right frame of mind for that day. So yeah, it's really good fun. And you find if you've done the first hour, it's called the miracle morning. If you do that first hour, and then obviously by 6 o'clock, you've got a while until you have to be at work or at school or whatever you're doing. So at that time you could be focused on your personal development. So you could be reading. You could be doing, Chloe, you've got a dissertation that you were doing. You can have an hour there in the morning when you're feeling productive and most energized to do like a solid hour of work or anything that you've been working on, really. Oh, Adrian's gone. I've bored him. He's left.
Yeah, well, I saw he was like frozen in the corner. And while you were talking, I was trying to figure out if he was frozen or if he was just very still. Like I was staring at him. But
let it go.
He's doing this on purpose. I'm sure he's sitting backstage watching, being like, let's see how the girls handle this. He's testing us.
Well, he left in my interview as well, as internet wasn't like really working properly, so he dropped out a couple times and I just kind of interviewed myself. So
I love that.
Australian Wi-Fi for you. So yeah, that's basically like the 5 a.m. club. But I always say to the girls, like, there's no pressure whatsoever. Like, you have to listen to your body. There's nights where I don't get to bed at a decent time, and so I need a little bit of a lay-in. But
yeah.
Would that be something that you would ever consider?
As you were explaining it, like, I love the idea of it, but part of what you said was you only sleep well when you know that you have to wake up early in the morning. And I'm the opposite to that.
Oh,
if I know I have to wake up early, I'm so restless because I'm so yeah, I'm not sure. I think I might feel panicky if I knew I had to wake up early.
Yeah.
That happened to me on the first night of the first night I joined. Was it Tuesday and morning or something? And I just kept waking up.
We did it exactly last week.
Yeah, so I woke up, but I kept waking up like every hour on the hour, being like, "Oh, is it 5 yet? Has I slept in? Have I slept in?" And I got to the stage where I was just so exhausted, and I actually did wake up, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I have to do like an
Yeah.
8-hour shift soon," and I'm like, haven't slept. But then it wasn't so bad then after, and then I crashed at a point, and I think maybe the reason why I crashed was that Tuesday night or the Monday night where I didn't sleep. Who's that extra person?
It's
It was
just
him swapping from data to Wi-Fi, I think.
Oh, okay. I was like, have we got a stranger in the podcast?
Don't mind me. Carry on. My internet sucks. I'm from Australia. You guys know this. Did I miss anything? I didn't hear like anything of the last 2
no,
minutes.
you can watch it back. It's just us talking about 5 a.m.
So Danielle, do you want to talk about your week? I'll be Adrian.
Have you not anything else? So it's just Universe
Yeah.
Island.
Yeah,
Work.
Universe Ireland, uni work, doing a 40-hour work job alongside trying to finish my dissertation and compete in Miss Universe Ireland. I'm like constantly 100% go at this point, but I kind of like being busy at the same time.
When is the final for it? I feel like I asked this last time, but I've forgotten already.
So the top 6 is announced this weekend, which is exciting. Yes,
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And then the final is, I think it's near the start of December. I think it's around between the 7th and the 10th, around that time.
Is the final virtual, or is it a like because there's only 6 of you?
So,
are you actually doing it?
So what we're going to do is this week we're going to film our evening gown and swimsuit from home or wherever people decide to film from. So we're going to have that in for the weekend, and then we haven't yet been given information on what the top 6 do, but I imagine it being something similar. But we've been given like lots of little mini projects, and it's been so much fun. So I actually love the little virtual pageant. Like I've honestly made some incredible friends. Like even after our interviews the last day, like one girl FaceTimed me and then I added another girl in and then another girl messaged me and then I added her in. And like a moment later, there was like 4 or 5 of us in this little chat laughing our heads off and cheering each other up and just being that positive light in each other's lives. And I really just love that about the virtual pageant, because usually in a normal pageant, you have 1 or 2 days. You don't get a proper chance to get to know everyone. I'm really getting to know these girls and they are incredible. And I would be happy if any single one of them won because they are all incredible. Just amazing bunch. Like they've made the experience and the whole team has. Brittany and the team, like it's been perfect. Like I've had such an incredible year. Yeah.
This is Chloe's honest opinion. It's not an ad or an endorsement or promotion.
It is not.
In any way.
Not. I have been telling him
sponsored.
the whole time. I keep calling Adrian, being like, I just love them all. They're all so nice.
Yeah, it's almost like you like them too much. You want them all to win. When it is a competition.
Yes. One of the girls in the competition, Michaela, came up with this idea. Why don't we have like a Miss Universe Olympics team and they send all of us?
Oh my god!
We'll send someone in for the interview.
Yeah. Relay.
You'd be like some sort of giant amalgamation of I'm sorry, but when you said Olympics, I remembered the Velcro from last week. God, Meg, long story. Don't worry about it. But that's missing. Well, we can worry about it after we turn off the live. I don't think we can talk about this one on the live. That's Miss Universe Ireland. Chloe's been super busy with that. Ms. Latimer, what have you been up to? Did you cover that when I was up there?
No, so I have come back to London because I had work. I had a very exciting e-commerce shoot yesterday. It's my first ever time shooting in a studio with studio lights, so I've had to research that a lot more because I've shot in the studio, but we've had big windows, so lots of natural light coming in.
Yeah.
And then I've shot a lot outdoors. So this is my first time actually setting up a studio with all the lights. So that was really exciting, challenging because the lights kept overheating. and they told us, oh yeah,
Overheating.
Yeah, don't.
You had like old school lights. You didn't have LED lights?
No, old school, and they kept beeping whenever.
Didn't know anyone still used the old school lights.
Oh yes, I think we had 2 smaller ones that were LED, and then the 2 big ones were not.
Okay.
So that was a bit frustrating because I had to turn them off to cool down every so often, which obviously time equals money on a shoot.
Yeah.
And to get the job done, I had to turn the lights down, so it meant that the photos were a bit darker. So I've had to post edit all of those, brighten them up. So I've been doing that. I've also finished a social media course and finished a course in presenting. And so I've been coursing it up to the eyeballs and trying to be as productive as possible. I've been running a lot. What else have I done?
Presenting. I knew about the social media course. Presenting.
She's coming for your job, Adrian.
Oh yes. Well, you did tell me.
Oh no, Chloe. Oh no, because it's not like I ever offered it to you two.
Because you said that you want to start handing over to us. I thought I better, get myself.
I do. Seriously, Danielle. Seriously, next week you choose a guest and you take my job next week.
I was preparing myself for it today. Hi guys.
Actually, I want to be here.
No. Yeah.
Meg, you're now one of the co-hosts. I only turn up every now and then.
We're like playing musical chairs but in the boxes, musical boxes. So yes, I've been doing a presenting course. I actually stuffed 3 weeks worth of work in a day in the whole of yesterday. So the morning that I was up, early in the morning. Because the course was expiring, so it's a free.
Yes, I had one of those.
Yeah,
I've actually paid for a course to get the certificate, and I never finished it in time, so I won't get my certificate. But the information's still there for me to do it in my own time. But I'm like, damn, I paid for the certificate. I'll not get it.
I've done that with free workshops before, and I screen record. Like if I've gone to the last day and realized I don't have the time to do it myself, and then I just screen record each of them. So now I have like an illegal recording of the course because I do not have the time to do it. Yeah, I
do that too, but don't tell anyone.
I won't say which course it was.
They don't give you the certificate if it expires. So I was just like, I've got to do this. So I literally crammed 3 weeks worth of work into a morning, or 2 weeks worth of work in the morning, and then before I went to bed, I did the last week's worth of work.
Big day.
Yeah, and then a 7-hour shoot as well. So.
Damn.
Busy. Hence why I needed the extra sleep this morning.
So, Adrian, how was your night last night with your Miss Earth press?
Well, so for those of you who don't know, Miss Earth. Oh, I just looked right at my ring light and blinded myself. Ring lights are bright. Who would have thunk it? Miss Earth reached out to me out of the blue. Obviously, they're one of the largest pageants in the world. It's one of the most prestigious Grand Slam, like top 4, top 5, debatable. And they just said, "Hey, do you want to be part of the press junket?" It's kind of the press meet and greet. And I was like, "Yep, sure. Why not?" I don't know why they reached out to me because I wasn't even following them. It was embarrassing. I follow them now.
It's so embarrassing. You have to follow someone.
Yeah, they weren't following me, so it's all good. They got like 200-something thousand followers, I think. And then Laura Clark, who I've interviewed, who's a Miss Earth USA director, like 2 hours after Miss Earth contacted me, sent me the same message saying, "Hey, do you want to?" So Miss Earth gave me a time slot, which was last night. And it had people like the Philippines, Poland, none of the countries that I have really had much to do with previously. But then Laura Clark was saying, "Hey, do you want to be on the time slot that the US is in?" Which also happens to be, I think, Australia and Ireland. I don't think the United Kingdom. We'll see. I haven't heard back from Laura just yet because obviously everything is super busy because Miss Earth, I think they will announce the winner. Actually, like Chloe was saying on the weekend, I think Miss Earth will announce their winner. On the 29th or something, they'll have the actual coronation. So it's very close to being over. But it started, at midnight for me, as in 8 hours ago. And I was on until 2:30 a.m. my time. And the only reason I fell off then was because my internet dropped out. My internet was being upgraded, so I didn't have any more internet. So I actually dropped out for the last 5 minutes. which is not surprising for me. It's a charm of being an Australian interviewer. And then I had to get up at 6. I was going to get up at 6, woke up, and similar to Danielle, I was like, no. So I went back to bed, got up at 7. I've had 2 hours sleep, which is why I would like to hide in this bottom corner. But it was good. It was fun. I'm saying good fun. I shouldn't just say stuff like that. What I noticed, I haven't interviewed Filipino pageant girls much or watched much of their interviews. One of the things I noticed, they're incredibly polite. I don't know if you guys have noticed. It's always sir and madam.
Mm-hmm. Always.
They would say Sir Eric from so and so, or madam. I'm like, wow, okay, I really feel out of place here because I'm like, what's up?
They're part of the culture. They're just in general.
Yeah.
I remember what always sticks with me is when I was in the Philippines and I was with my good friend Parul. We were at the checkout at the grocery store, and she goes, "Thank you, Ate." And Ate, I don't know if I'm probably butchering the accent.
It sounds right to me.
Means auntie. I'm like, do you just call everyone auntie? She's like, everyone is family in the Philippines. I was like, oh, that's so cute.
That's so
cute.
wholesome.
And there's
So sweet.
the advert for the tourism board. My friend is in, which is so funny. My friend Jack is in it. And I remember it was so weird. I was watching Miss Universe there in the Philippines. And on the big screen in front of me, I just see Jack. I'm like, Jack, what are you doing? Like, I messaged him, being like, why?
What are you doing up there?
Why are you on the big screen in front of me? I'm currently at Miss Universe. He's like, oh my God, you're at Miss Universe. I had tickets, but I completely forgot. I was like, what?
Forgot Miss Universe? Wow.
Don't.
Must have had better things to do.
Yeah. So he was in the advert for the tourism board, and the woman keeps calling him Anak, which means my son.
Oh, wow, okay.
And then he turns, the advert is, I don't know if you can get the advert up, but he turns around and goes, what does Anak mean? And he goes, it means my son or my family. Or
do you know the name of the ad?
My
Because I
child.
don't know Filipino. What should I look up?
Put in Philippines Tourism Jack Ellis. He is named in it. It's a really lovely advert. Heartwarming. But they do treat everyone like family. So
They
courteous.
Do. Yeah.
What year was that you were there? Is it 2017? 16? Oh, 17
Jamie,
in Vegas, wasn't
it? 2015 was in Vegas. That was Pia.
Yeah, but Colleen was there in 2007.
2006, yeah. 2016 when Iris Mittenaire won France.
Yeah. Oh, I love her.
Has Meg dropped out? Maggie?
Oh, I'm back. I dropped out
she's just
temporarily.
Your camera's frozen. Let me remove you and add you back and see if that. Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, I can hear you. I thought I was still a part of the show, but
Oh.
You were. You were just frozen in a very good pose, actually. Normally when I'm frozen, it's like, it's like, great, thank you. But yeah, that's Miss Earth. I've had no sleep. Filipino people are very, very polite. And the interviewer, as silly and shallow as it seems, when I do an interview or podcast like this, I will do, like, I don't do makeup, right? But I will make myself presentable. I like to think. Some of the people who ask questions there look like they just tumbled out of bed, and maybe they had. I don't know. Like, literally, they look like they're sitting back in a chair like this. And sometimes, because it was a massive Zoom call, depending on who was speaking, there were like 5 of us at the top that you could see at all times. Of course, yours truly was always stuck there, so I couldn't do anything. But sometimes there'd be a guy there in a T-shirt sitting back, and he'd be like this. I'm like, this is not a really good look. But one of the interviewers, whilst he was asking his questions, and by the way, this is after 2 hours of, interviews. And one guy goes, I have a question for all the delegates. And just like, oh. So he literally got every single delegate, 10 of them, to answer his question, which takes a long time. But one of them was holding his dog whilst he was asking the questions, and literally every now and then they would tongue action, he was kissing and the dog was, and I'm like, I hope no
It
one
sounds
saw my
like me in
facial
Paris.
expression. Well, yeah, but you can also hear it. And when you're on the headphones, if you imagine a licking sound when you're on Meg might appreciate this. These are Logitech like noise cancelling gaming
Noise cancelling,
headphones.
yeah.
So all you hear is what sound is coming through. So if you imagine a really wet licking sound and you're watching a middle-aged Filipino man tongue-on-tongue action with his dog, for the first time, I wasn't paying attention to the girl. I just couldn't look away. I was like...
I even commented being like, the
that.
dog is really cute, but it's really distracting. Like, I can't hear anything this beautiful woman is saying because all I can look at is that dog.
Yeah, it was kind of distracting. Like, I'd like to sound professional. Obviously, if I might on this one, like bring a camera as a joke and, slap him around a bit. But if it's an interview, no, I'm not going to do that. So that was interesting. It was one of those Zoom calls. Chloe might know this because she's been doing massive Zoom calls. Like literally there's 2 screens. Like you have to click to get everyone on. So it's like 25 people. Then you click and there's another 25 people. And I was like, oh my God. But that was fun. So we should have a new Miss Earth within the week. I do think that the Filipino and Dutch candidate, so from the Netherlands, they were very, very strong candidates. The Filipino candidate being strong, it's not going to surprise anyone, is it?
No, yeah.
It's like, well, really?
They've had so many winners from the Philippines that it's got. Miss Earth has been called in the past cooking show. Because they've had so many
I think I know
Filipino winners.
Yeah. They had 3 in the space of like 4 years, I think. Yeah.
So, but I think USA is very strong.
USA is incredibly fierce. If I do jump on the press junket when she's on, I will definitely ask her a question. I don't know how, because who was saying it? I think it was Emma Jenkins, who's Miss Universe GB. She said one of the most important things as a pageant queen, as a competitor, is to have that sort of friendly banter. It's not just to be fierce. You also need to be very approachable and tune it down a little bit, be a little bit soft. That's what Emma says anyway, and it worked well for her. I'll be interested to see if Lindsay is like that, because when I see her, I don't see that soft side. She looks incredibly just strong. And maybe that's what Earth wants. I'm not sure.
I feel like her performances are definitely very strong. But if you watch her, I know she's done a few lives and I've tuned in a few times. And she comes across very warm and very approachable in her live videos and videos that she's done. So
okay.
I think because her evening gown performance was so fierce.
I'll see if I can actually bring that up.
It was so fierce. Like it's the most shared evening gown performance from Earth this year.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it looked amazing. I posted it. I stole it off their Facebook page and then posted it. Well, I say stole. I mean, I tagged them in it, and the director saw it, so she's okay with it. Here it is. Here we go. So this is Lindsay Coffey, who's Miss Earth USA. How do you share screen? By hitting the share screen button. There you go. So she's over here.
Whoa.
She's very model-esque. But she's very fierce looking. Instead of being like happy, smiley, pageanty, she's more got that kind of model-esque walk. Yeah,
and she is a model amongst other things. She's not just a model. She has a full-time occupation, I think, as well. But you see that, and I'm just like first word that comes to mind is not necessarily approachable, is what I'm saying. I'm sure she could be, but when you see that, it's kind of, oh my God, that's like fierce to me. So it'd be interesting to see when you hear her speak or when I interview her, when I ask my question, whether she has that sort of warmth that Emma Jenkins was saying was really important. And I think it is important to Earth because I love the Filipino queens, as Danielle said, and they always a little bit softer, very polite, as we said, very respectful. But it'll be interesting. And our Aussie girl will be there. And I think the Irish contestant will be there. And speaking of the Irish contestant, Eileen, who I know Chloe is good friends with, I'm interviewing her.
Amazing.
So this time tomorrow, I'll be interviewing Eileen, who is Miss Earth Ireland. Oh, words are a struggle. Okay. And Dale has said hello, everyone. Sendao, I know you've been going through a tough
Hi.
time recently, so hope you're
Hi.
going well.
Hi.
All right. I'm just going to steal hosting duties back from Chloe for a sec, then I'm giving it back to Chloe because she was doing such a good job. We did have a question way back. What? From Michelle. So Danielle, Chloe, Meg, pretend this is a pageant question, so you only have 30 seconds to answer. Okay? And then I'm going to literally mute you so I don't have to listen for 4 hours. So the question is this. I don't know if Michelle's watching anymore. What is the most important portion in a pageant? And we'll go around the room for Danielle, then Chloe, then Meg. All right, Danielle, your 30 seconds begins now.
I would have to say that the most important portion of a pageant has to be your interview. If the judges fall in love with you and who you are and what you bring to the table, it's going to be an interview, and the girl can take the crown in interview for sure. They will make allowances for any faux pas, trips, anything that happens on stage, simply because they already love you.
Well, that was a good answer. It's like you've done this before. Have you done pageantry before?
No, never.
Should give it a go. You might do pretty well. Like I wouldn't set my sights too high, but you could go okay. Miss Davies, your time. Your time starts now.
I would definitely have to agree with Danielle on the interview. What was that?
That was my doorbell. I'm sorry.
Time's up. That was the buzzer.
It's real here. Yeah. You got 5 seconds left, Chloe. And time. Okay, moving on to sorry.
Oh no! Don't be mean.
Savage.
Sorry,
Chloe. Go again.
Sorry, I was just about to say, me and Adrian have had a conversation in the past before about how some interviews can be too short. And if you know that you're only going to have a 3-minute interview, then you're going to rehearse what you're going to say in that 3 minutes. So it's not authentic. You don't really get to know the person because it's a rehearsed speech that they've learned to speak about for 3 minutes. So I believe that the interview is the strongest part, but it should be a longer part of the pageant. It should be more than 3 minutes, like what they're doing at the moment with Miss Universe Ireland. We've had 2 interviews so far, and it gives you more time to get to know the contestant because anyone can walk in on the day and wow the judges in 3 minutes. Sorry, I had a stutter there. But yeah, an interview, but more interviews, longer interviews, maybe Zoom interviews, even on the day of the actual pageant to free up more time. Have the interviews done before the pageant and get to know the girls more than what you would in 3 minutes.
I was speaking to one of the directors who mentioned that this is pre-pandemic, that they were going to go to Zoom interviews before the actual pageant took place in person so that they could do exactly that. They could get to know the girls better, and they were going to go through the girls' social media, which is like, for me, it's just a given. You have to do that. And then on the day when everyone turns up, they can actually focus on enjoying themselves rather than getting worked up about interview. I mean, I don't get nervous about interview because I can't shut up, but that's because I'm weird. All right. Speaking of people who can't shut up, Meg. So question is, sorry, Meg. I'm in one of those moods. I've got no sleep. So what is the most important portion in a pageant? Take as long as you want, because I should not talk anymore.
I'm going to be super original and say interview. But
Stop copying everyone's answers.
But I have a twofer here, so hang on. Part 1, I do think it's interview. I think so many girls can have the look and, like Chloe said, turn up and slay on the day, but not every girl has the drive or the commitment or the actual heart for it. And interviews your only time you can actually really challenge a contestant to figure out who they are behind the show, behind the mask and the glitz and the glam. So I do 100% think it is interview. I also agree that there should be more of them and etc. But I think I said in my interview with you, Adrian, the way that Miss New Zealand runs their pageant, I think, is the way to run a pageant. So we run our pageant over months. And we have rehearsals every Saturday. So it's over about a 6-month period. We have the girls every Saturday. And so I get to know them. Like, they still have preliminary. All the girls have their actual pre-judging day, and that's when they have the interview with the judges and they actually present their talent and their charity work. And evening wear and cocktail and all of that kind of stuff. But I've dealt with the girls for 6 months, and I go through all of their social media and I give the portion on that, and I know them. And so I think that's such an important process to make sure you are crowning the right girl, and the girl who is going to represent your country to its best ability, and is genuine and authentic. You need to actually engage with the girls for more than just like a 2-day like pageant bender. You need to know your girls better. It's the only way you're actually going to send the strongest contestant. So yeah, I think pageants should be for longer periods of time, maybe not 6 months because it's a big commitment, but more than just like a 2-day pageant bender weekend.
It's an interesting concept, isn't it? Like, I love the idea of really getting to know the girls over a longer period. Obviously not everyone would be able to commit to that, but it's a different way of doing things, and I think pageant industry is trying different things to stay relevant. So I mean, I like the sound of that. Obviously it's a much bigger time commitment than a weekend. Having said that, most serious pageant contestants would be in preparation for a big pageant for 6 or 12 months anyway. So maybe it's not that much of an ask.
It filters out a lot of the girls who aren't willing to make that kind of commitment as well.
That's true. That's
you only get women who are ready to work,
serious,
to practice for
the
6
serious
months
ones,
and turn up to rehearsals and do a 6-month like commitment to charity. And those girls are going to survive their 3 or whatever weeks internationally if they go. Because you're going to be on every single day for 3 weeks overseas.
The only flaw that I can see in that is if you are in a particularly large country, you wouldn't all be able to get to the same place every single weekend. So, for example, in the States, we'd never be able to do that.
Oh, definitely not. But we, to a lesser degree, we're 2 islands. So we've had contestants from the South Island, and basically our only requirement for them has been, because we run workshops as well. So we have a presenters platform where the girls all learn public speaking and presenting to camera. We have a head-to-head debate challenge, stuff like that. So the only time the girls actually have to be there for rehearsal in those 6 months is like there's 4. You have to make sure you're there for 4, which is like your preliminary, your final night, and then it's something like the presenters platform and 1 other. So you only have to be there for 4. We do a lot of virtual stuff as well, and when we learn choreography and everything, we film it, we put it up on the page so the girls can work. And then the time they can come, we meet early with the girls who haven't been there and kind of work through it. So, but that's again, not everyone could potentially even make it 4 times in a country like America, where it's really expensive to fly even just domestically.
That sounds good. I like the idea of having a longer sort of a longer period and doing as much of it as virtual as possible, so people don't actually need to travel around. Because I think it would be unreasonable to expect people to literally travel in physically every week to do something. I also said this to Meg. I don't know if we talked about it in our actual interview, but the debate where you get the girls to go head to head in a debate, I love the idea of that, because this whole idea that you need to be able to give an opinion and defend it and debate it without resorting to name calling, which is what 2020 and social media has become. If you disagree with me, you're stupid, basically. And that's not an argument. So I love the idea that you actually have debates in there.
I think we were inspired to do it because that's what they do at Miss World, and that was originally our number 1 pageant. So Miss New Zealand is run kind of like your power pageants. We have a number of big titles that we give out, but I also found when I was first doing pageantry, it was really drilled into us to not talk about things that were controversial. And I almost find that it perpetuates that pageant girls can be quite vapid and they don't have an opinion about stuff. And I think as long as your opinion is educated and, you can back up your point eloquently and articulately and you're not offending people with your opinion, you should be entitled to your opinion. You shouldn't have to just sit pretty. So that's where I got inspired to really run the head-to-head debate with the girls.
I love that. I think one of my pet peeves in the Q&A is when people want to sit on the fence and they don't actually answer the question. It's okay to have an opinion. You just have to back it up with what you're saying and don't offend. There's a way in getting your opinion across without offending people. Because there's too many people that sit on the fence and it's a bit of a wishy-washy answer. So that's a great way in preparing girls for that moment.
There are also some people, just to Meg's point about not offending people, there are also some people who get offended at anything.
Yeah.
So I think I'm serious. I think sometimes it's important to realize that if you have an opinion, you're gonna offend someone. I even say like with a sense of humor. It's like because I crack jokes all the time. Obviously, I've offended pretty much every country in the world by this stage. But you know how like who can you actually make fun of anymore without getting in trouble? You can't make fun of women. You can't make fun of basically, and you certainly can't make fun of African Americans. It's the only people I think you can make fun of are middle-aged white men.
And
in
women,
terms of being
Karens.
politically correct.
You can make fun of Karens.
Literally Karens, though. But yeah. Well, Meg, you've been a bit of a Karen.
Back, though. Yeah, the Karens.
You should change your name to Karen.
And I'm an honorary Karen, like through and through. I am such a Karen. But I think the important thing to being a not hated Karen is I've worked hospitality, I've worked service, like, you know, I've worked those jobs. I only Karen things when it's like my hotel room in Vegas, for instance. I purchased a strip view room in Vegas. I paid extra for it. That was what I bought. And then I got there and our room, literally, when you open the windows, was the wall of the other building. I think I put it up on my Instagram story. I think Chloe might have seen it. Yeah. It was literally just the wall of the other part of the building. And
the strip was lovely behind the wall, but I mean, you couldn't really see it because there was a hotel in the middle. Yeah. It's like it's somewhere. Use the force.
Is Meg frozen or is it my internet?
No, just that's how she looks like that all the time. Come back, Meg. Meg, if you can hear us, you're frozen, so maybe disconnect and reconnect. We will move on whilst Meg reconnects. Sandal here said, thanks, Adrian. It's great to reconnect. I'm glad to be back. She also has a question. So here's a question, and hopefully Meg will come back and we can answer this. So Sandal has asked, what is a tip from each...
Are
you back?
Out there.
She back?
I'm back. Hi.
Hang on, let me remove and add you. Okay, cool. Before we get to this question here from Sandal about a tip to win interview, Chloe also had an adventure in Vegas. This was a very...
I remember this.
Oh, no.
No, remember your suitcase?
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask that. And at that moment in time, maybe I should have been a Karen. Yeah, that was a very strange experience. So there was one day where me and my friends decided to go out shopping. And when we came back, I opened my suitcase to put my new clothes into. And there was a surprise in my suitcase.
What was in your suitcase, Chloe?
It was urine.
Someone had peed in her suitcase.
Why would someone pee in a suitcase?
Well, look, when you got to go.
In your hotel room? Like.
Yeah. Didn't you see my story at the time?
No. So your closed suitcase in your hotel room had been
it was opened and yeah.
Only in America, baby.
Yeah.
How did you not Karen that?
I can't. I low-key tried to Karen it, and what happened was that night they refused to believe me. I called down and I was like, I've just been shopping and I've came back to my room to find that someone had urinated in my suitcase. And just as casually as that.
Sorry, it's not funny.
And then they sent
call would have been like,
what? And then they sent these two Cockney guys to my room, 2 English security guards, and they were such
in Vegas. Cockney security guards.
We get around.
It was so random because I was crying and I was explaining to them what had happened, and then I waited for a minute and I was like, hold on, are you guys from the UK? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, that's so random. And then like I went back to crying again about
you're right, darling. We've heard peed in your suitcase.
You're allowed to cry.
We'll come to see your suitcase, darling. It's all right. We'll sort it out.
Yeah, that's exactly the way it was. And it was the way one of them lifted up and they're all right. Yeah, that is piss. That is. That's what he. That's the way.
Quote in quote.
Yeah, quote. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I shouldn't have said that. But that is literally what he said, because they refused to believe me, because at the reception they answered their phones and they were like, "There's no way that happened in this hotel. That's never happened in this hotel." And I was like,
It's never happened
okay.
in most hotels, I would hope.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking is, initially I thought maybe a pet had got into the room, because a lot of people walk around Vegas with their pets. But apparently,
The little
there has
tiny
to be
dogs.
pet. Yeah, there has to be pet floors. So if you have a pet, they all be at the same floor. Like this was a high up floor, so there was no pets there. So what I'm thinking is maybe it was like a stag party,
Because
and
the
like a
pets
group
get
of guys.
vertigo.
Yeah, and like
They
I
can't be
saw
on
the
the high
cleaners.
floor.
Classic Chloe.
Oh, so when I was seeing the cleaners clean the rooms, I see that they hold like one door open with their little laundry trolley, and then they'd be in the other room cleaning. So what I'm thinking is maybe like a stag party, maybe they dared each other to do something silly. I don't know. It happened during the day, so I'm so confused.
And
But
nothing came from it. The hotel didn't like do anything to
they
make it up to you.
they cleaned my clothes.
Uh-huh.
And like they initially refused to clean my clothes, because they said we can't clean soiled items. And I was like, but I didn't soil them. Like, what the heck? Like, why can't you clean my clothes? And they were like,
What do you
no,
mean they can't clean soiled items? That's why you
yeah,
clean things, because they're dirty.
yeah. They said they couldn't because of what was on them. And then I got a little bit of a car inside. Well, Amy was my Karen, and Amy was like,
Amy
"Yep,
Mizek.
we're gonna go." Yeah, she said we were gonna go to the police, and that we were gonna DNA them, and we were gonna find out, and that we tried to get the camera footage, but they said that they weren't allowed to give out camera footage for security reasons, in case like you were stalking someone, or yeah, they're not
But
allowed
surely
to.
they
They're not.
could
Weren't.
check it. You don't have to see
Yeah,
it, but they could check it.
they
Guys,
told us they don't
just
actually
so
have
that you
cameras,
know, Meg is not actually making that face.
Yeah,
She's frozen
it's
again.
again.
I mean, that's probably the best
I'm
expression
here.
for her to.
Yeah.
Oh, you're there. Can you see how you've frozen?
I
Like the
am
expression
here.
you've frozen in is the perfect expression for you to be frozen in for Chloe's Karen story. You've got a Karen expression that's like,
Can I talk to the manager?
Yeah, so apparently they're not allowed to have cameras in the actual corridors where the room doors are. So they've got cameras around where the elevator shafts are, but not where the room doors are.
what's
Yeah,
the
it's
point of having
bizarre.
cameras when you don't have them in the
Yeah.
corridors? Oh, that's so good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you
So
should
they
have had a
said.
Meg there with you.
Oh
Meg
yeah.
would have
So
gone
To be
full
fair,
Karen.
And
how long ago was this? Because I reckon we can still Karen it.
it was last summer. And the worst thing was I like
What's the
rang
number?
up
Let's
to
phone them
complain
now.
again. I was still really upset about it after I got home, and I rang them up and I was like, "Are you guys going to do anything about this?" And they're like, they kept me hanging on the phone for ages. And I rang them from Dubai, like just after I got back from Vegas. And like I racked up this huge telephone bill, like trying
They
to
should
call
pay
them to
for
sort
that.
it out. And
Mm.
they did nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd give them a
But they,
bad review on TripAdvisor and put in the
yeah,
title.
so they cleaned my
They
clothes,
peed in my suitcase.
and my
You
clothes
gotta
took
get
days to
everyone
clean.
riled up about it.
Eventually, yeah, eventually they cleaned them, but it took ages. It took days for them to come back, and they weren't even going to move us rooms until I went down to reception, and I literally cried. I said, "I do not feel safe." We like, I know this sounds silly, but we had snacks and stuff in our room too, and if they did that to my suitcase, like imagine like what this person could have been doing like to our snacks. And yeah, I don't even want to think about it, but I felt unsafe being in that room on that floor, so I made them move us to a different floor. Um, and it wasn't even any better of a room. It wasn't an upgrade or anything. It was just the same size room. But you'd think after all that, they would have. I should have been more of a Karen, but I think I was just so traumatized at the time. And like the day it happened, it happened when we were out shopping, and everyone had plans that night. It was the night we went to go visit the big wheel. And I was just so upset. I didn't want to do anything. I was just so, so upset because I spend all my money on clothes. Like I had so many lovely outfits with me. And like for someone to do that in my personalized suitcase, I was just so upset. Yeah.
I saw some of, I think it was your Snapchat stories you sent me from the time
Yeah.
that happened, and you looked really upset, and you were talking to your Snapchat about like what had happened. But I gotta say, like when you watch it back, obviously it's horrible. It's so funny, and I know after that, like Amy and you guys were all having so much fun about it, having a laugh about it. Because how can you take it seriously? Like really, like you wouldn't think that this could happen anywhere. But what
Vegas.
happens in Vegas, in this
Stays
case,
in your
definitely
suitcase.
stays in Vegas. Don't want to bring
Stays in
that
your
back with you.
suitcase.
Oh yeah, might want to burn that suitcase. Don't run a black light over it. See if there's still any
Oh,
signs
no,
of
don't.
anything.
You don't want to do
No.
that.
You'll never use that suitcase again. Meg, why does your camera keep freezing? You're
I don't know.
here. Oh, has she gone? Oh, you can take the New Zealander out of New Zealand, but apparently you can't give her good internet. Okay, let's, Meg, when you're back, give us a yell. Let's answer this question for Sandal. So she's asked, what is a tip from each of you to win interviews? So basically, best interview tips, I guess. So I'll go over to, hang on, let me remove Meg and re-add.
I've put
There you
myself
are,
on
Meg.
mobile data now, so hopefully it'll do better. Maybe my Missouri Lake Wi-Fi wasn't quite up to the task.
Careful, 5G will give you corona. That's what the conspiracy theorists say.
Oh,
Don't
I'm
ask.
going to get a microchip vaccine anyway, so.
I'm going to get all the vaccines. Here in Australia, we've got like 4 sorted. I'm going to get all of them because each one has like 90% success rate. I'm going to have them all just because I'm so sick of corona. But anyway, tips to do best in interviews. So Danielle, interview tips.
I see interview as basically an interview for a job. So you need to prove that to the judges that you are the most qualified and ready for the position. So tell them exactly what you've been doing up in the run-up and tell them exactly what you have planned, because you should be planning ahead if you were lucky enough to win the title. So give them specifics in what you would do with the title so they feel safe in the knowledge that you will be an active and proactive queen.
Very nice. I love it. Miss Chloe?
Yes, I completely agree with what Danielle said and giving them knowledge of what you're going to do with the title and also being yourself. I think being yourself is very important and try not to sound too overly rehearsed. Sometimes when you think about all these plans that you're going to have with the future and you practice it in your head so much, you can go in and it can sound rehearsed. So just never really lose that sense of yourself as well and make them laugh, make them smile, just be you.
Yeah, 100% with that. Just because when you've done 10 or 20 interviews in a row, the last thing you need coming in is someone who's just a bit boring. Because
Yeah.
So I agree with that absolutely. Meg, interview tips.
Yeah, I think
interview tips.
I think you don't want to have like the cookie cutter answers. Like it's a really good idea to, like any job interview, have an idea of what you want to say and the points you want to get across, but don't memorize them and try and like wedge your pre-rehearsed paragraphs into anything that comes your way. I think the second thing is, without being cocky, be confident. Like one of the things we always ask is, who do you think should win? You know, who do you think deserves the crown? And like most girls will never say themselves. They feel like they're supposed to. Most girls don't. They feel like they're supposed to go, oh, well, you know, I think all the girls here deserve it. I think they've all worked. So, you know, they say really like, I think I'm supposed to say something nice and complimentary about everyone when you're supposed to say, me, I think I should win the crown. I'm the most, and just, you know, present yourself as already the winner, you know, like in line to win. But so many girls won't say themselves if you ask them, who do you think should win?
I've never said myself. I've been asked that before, not yet.
Girl,
I've been
you
asked
don't
that
go
a
through
grand,
months
and
of training, you know, spend all this money on gowns for you just go, oh yeah, she should win.
Yeah, I've never said me. Yeah.
Like, why are you like? Yeah, I think when girls do it, it's like, well, then why are you here?
Why are you here? Why are you doing it if you want her to win?
Yeah, I completely get that, but I think it's just the fear of not coming across humble.
You got to own it. You got to own it.
Yeah, because it definitely feels a bit wrong saying it the first couple
Yeah,
times. But there's nothing
yeah.
wrong with being in it to win it, you know?
Yeah.
And feeling like you
Yeah.
deserve to win it. You need to, and if you've done your best and you've worked the hardest, then you should
Yeah.
believe that you do deserve to win the crown. So there's no shame or anything wrong with saying
there's no
that you think
discrediting the other girls. Like they've done.
Yeah,
like,
you're not saying they're
amazing.
bad.
You're not saying they're
Yeah.
bad. You're not saying that you're better than them. You're just saying that I'm backing myself because I have the belief in myself. I know that I could take this, you know, title to the next level because I have all these plans and I can back myself and I know that I will do the work. You know, you're not comparing yourself to them. They're doing their own thing. You've got to back yourself. That's your one time to shine. If you turn around and say, oh, this girl is really nice and this girl's done all this work, you're shining your light on them instead of shining on yourself, and that's your moment to shine.
Yeah. This is because I've talked to Chloe about this. It's because Chloe is very, very humble and she loves talking everyone else up. She hypes everyone else up.
I do. I
and
love
it's a
hyping
lovely,
people up.
it's a lovely personality trait. Don't get me wrong. But I've said this, and Meg, I don't know if it's the same in New Zealand, but people in the UK, and by that, and Ireland and Australia, are notorious for talking themselves down. Like the joke in the UK is if you're in a Tesco, let's say someone runs a supermarket into you, you say sorry. Like literally, someone runs a trolley into you and you're, sorry. It's like they ran the trolley into you. Yeah, now if you take that mentality into a pageant, now we know why you're not going to say I should win because those two personalities can't coexist. Meg, is it the same in New Zealand? Like talking, it's generally, you know how we say tall poppy syndrome here in Oz.
Tall poppy, we have tall poppy syndrome. If anyone tries to rise above that and say that, oh, well, you think I am good at this or I am worthy, you have everyone else just tearing you down. So you get taught from a really young age to be humble to a fault, I think.
But it goes too far, right? Because all of these things are good in moderation. Like confidence is good in moderation. So is humility.
Yeah.
But when humility, you take it too far, then you never back yourself. And confidence taken too far becomes cocky and arrogant.
Yeah.
So it's always about finding that balance. But
like
it's
all you've got in
definitely an
this
issue.
life, you need to back yourself, you know? Like you are going to be the only thing that you always have. You need to back yourself. Be your own hype girl.
There you go, Chloe. Now you've heard it. Not just me saying it, you got these two yelling it at you as well. But I will say, like, humility and hyping everyone else up in a pageant is still a beautiful thing. Like, actually saying good things about your fellow contestants, that's lovely. So don't stop doing that, Chloe. I'm not going to make you feel bad about doing that. But if someone asks you who you feel should win, the answer is me.
Say you.
Yeah.
What?
I promise I'll start saying that. But then at the end of the day, I come out of experiences just like Gran, and I've got friends just like this little Kiwi. And that was from being myself. And that was from not getting too in my head and focused on winning so much to the extent where I haven't made friends out of the best experience of my life. So I'm glad of how I have handled things. Yeah.
You can back yourself and be fierce and strong and still make friends. And, you know, there is a stereotype of a girl that is too fierce and doesn't want to get to know the competition. There's totally those girls out there. But then there's happy mediums that back themselves and are strong candidates and be like, look, I'm here to win because, you know, I've worked really hard in the run up to this and I really want it. But then also can be super like helpful. Like my best example that I have of this is my Miss Philippines. She roomed with Miss Netherlands, and pretty much every day she did Shawnee's hair. She, you know, helped her with her walk and makeup and everything. Like she was so giving to everyone, and she was like, "Oh, girl, do you need help? Like, and it wasn't a fake thing. It was just like she was there, spending hours curling Shawnee's hair, and Shawnee looked fantastic. Like, and Shawnee was like, "Oh my god, thank you so much." But then when she goes into that interview room, she's like, I'm here, I've arrived, I'm ready to be the queen. She was literally the perfect happy medium between the two. And I say every girl should aspire to be like Perul in that sense.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
It's because
and
I
that's like
draw
our
the
winner of
parallel
Grand as
between
well.
Sorry.
Oh,
jeez.
oh, sorry. Yeah, our winner of Grand, Maria. At the day, at the day of the final, she actually taught me how to walk downstairs in heels. She's like, "Oh, if you walk sideways like this," and she was so sweet. She was the winner of the entire competition, but she was so helpful and like took her time to like teach me how to walk downstairs in heels because I was just 20 years old. I'd never had any pageant training, any walk training, anything. And the winner of the competition was so sweet that she took her time to help me.
Maria was amazing. And
she was.
She was a great queen.
So
I remember Lauren Parkinson telling us a story how when they were in Myanmar, some girl's phone got stolen, and she made everyone. She took the microphone. She took control of the situation. It wasn't like the directors. It wasn't Mr. Nawat or Teresa or anyone. She took the microphone. She's like, right, everyone, stop what you're doing. And everyone hold their phone, like empty their pockets. She went round and made every single staff member and girl empty their pockets. And then they tracked the phone, and the person escaped in that moment and ran off with the phone because they tracked it out. But she stopped things and she was like, everyone empty your pockets right now. And like that is such a queen thing to do.
Did she get it back eventually?
Back and been like, I don't care. But she cared.
Guys, sorry, I've got some sort of, you probably can hear that, like a leaf blower or some. I'm going to go outside and kill someone. Whilst I murder, I just realised that we actually have 3 grand queens on. It never sort of dawned on me. But grand.
Grand.
3 grands. Now, we have been on for a while. So we'll begin to wrap up. And Anna Louisa Martins has a question here. What do you guys feel and think about the new COVID vaccines? Rather than going into too much detail, I'm going to show you a TikTok that I saw, Anna, and I'll show the girls this as well. And I think this is really important because there's a lot of misinformation being spread by both sides about the vaccines. And like everyone's entitled to make up their own opinion, but science is science, and I would say follow the science. But I'll just play this for you. Let me share screen. And then we'll move towards a wrap up. Okay. Let me mute myself.
Everyone waiting in anticipation.
Yeah. There is
no sound.
No sound.
Can you hear it now?
Nope.
No.
I hear you.
We can hear the lawnmower.
No, gonna kill somebody. All right. You know what? I'll sort that out. Whilst I sort that out, let me remove that. I don't know. Meg, do you know what this software here is? You might be the one person who knows what this is.
It's so small on my screen, but no, I don't think I know what it is.
I'm gonna. Yeah, it's called Voice Meter Potato. It's a mixing software that a lot of Twitch users use to manage their audio, and I don't know how to use at the moment. So whilst I deal with that, Chloe, you've been doing a very good job of hosting. So can you go around the room and get everyone to wrap up? I'm going to mute myself again.
Okay. Danielle, would you like to wrap up on your plans for next week?
I don't really have any, to be honest. I'm just going to be doing putting hours in editing, and I'm going to do a lot more running. And I've set my task for the Galaxy Girls. I don't know if you remember last week I set a task for Team UK. I set a task this week, and Beth completed it within like 10 minutes. So I might have to extend that task. So I'll be working on that, and that's about it, really. I think all I've got planned. Just, work.
And what about you, Meg? How is your week gonna go this week? Any nice plans? I suck at being Adrian.
I have a baseline sonogram on Wednesday to find out how many of my follicles are actively about to produce eggs. And then I start my injections on Friday. So I have to take 2 injections a day for a week. Got to mix them, and I had to watch all these videos on how to mix the the liquid and everything and inject myself. So I'm going to do that
What's
twice a
this
day.
for?
My egg donation.
Oh, you're donating eggs. Amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm in America for. I got matched with I actually got matched with a couple in like December last year. And then I had to come off of, because I'm on a contraceptive pill normally, I had to come off of it for 3 months in order to give your ovaries the best shot at producing a lot of eggs. And then that put us into about March. So COVID happened, I couldn't travel. And then about a month and a half ago, a small window of opportunity opened up that looked like I'd be able to make it to America to do it. So even though it was like coming up to the elections and all the COVID stuff was happening, this couple has tried for years to have a baby, you know, and nothing's happened. And yes, it's like a little bit not ideal for me to be in America at the moment, but it's in the grand scheme of things, it's such a small bit of inconvenience for me, and I get to give someone else this massive miracle, you know. So yeah, I have a baseline sonogram on Wednesday to see how many follicles will be able to produce eggs, and then I start my injections on Friday. And then every couple of days I come in for blood work, and then we ramp it up to 3 injections a day, and then they will give me an injection to stop my ovulation, and then they will extract my eggs. So I just got given my final date for that, which is the 8th of December.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
That is so sweet.
I'm kind of nervous though, because I've had to have tons of, I had to have like a psychiatric appointment and a few doctor's appointment, basically really prepping you for, it's not fun, is basically what they've all said. Like all the injections and the way your side effects and the way your body reacts to them is really not ideal. But yeah, like I said, in the grand scheme of things, it will suck for me for a little bit, and it will, they can use my eggs for as many kids as they want effectively. So they'll be able to have, if let's say they wanted 3 kids, they could have 3 full siblings from this donation, which would be, you know, amazing. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Literally giving a family their dream.
Yeah, and like getting to this stage, like you're normally the last resort, you know, like they've tried everything to have the kids their own way. So yeah. I'm hoping I have a lot of follicles. Like, I'm like hyper fertile. Like, I have an inhuman amount of follicles. They hope for you to have about 20 in total, so like 10 in each ovary, and I have 20, like upwards of 20 in each ovary. So I've got a more than 40, which will be really good for them, hopefully.
Amazing. So sweet.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. I think I've sorted it out. Let me just, can you guys hear this?
You've probably heard from
Yeah.
Can you hear that?
Is that the vaccine video? Yeah.
We'll watch the video about the COVID vaccines. So have a look and make up your own mind.
If you're worried the vaccines have been rushed, this video is for you. You've probably heard from everyone that vaccines take 5 to 10 years to make, and that's why we should be worried, because this has been rushed. Let me tell you the truth. In clinical trials, most of the time is spent doing nothing. Most of the time in clinical trials, they have to apply for funding, then they have to wait. They might have to apply for different funding or resubmit their request, then submitting requests for ethical approval, then resubmitting it, and then waiting. There's a lot of waiting. Then obviously recruiting patients, which can take ages. Reason why it takes so long to produce a vaccine in normal times is because of all the waiting and the logistics. But COVID has shown if you bring together some really smart people, pump in unlimited money, and have super keen volunteers, we can do some amazing things like create a vaccine in under a year. Safety has never been compromised. The world has been watching. The press reported every adverse event. So yeah, there you have it. That's why it's happened in super quick time.
That makes so much sense.
Because there's a lot of conspiracy theorists, and the thing with conspiracy theories is that the theorists is that even when you show them objective evidence that they're wrong, their beliefs actually get stronger. So I know people are going to say it's rushed, and so they've cut corners, so it's going to be safe, and no. And also people who don't want to have the vaccine, which fair enough, but it's not necessarily just about you. Like if you don't get it and you're infected and you're then asymptomatic and you don't know, and you give it to an old person who then dies, it's not just about you. And that's what really aggravates me with the anti-vaxxers. They don't realize it's not just about them. And this whole idea that they're going to microchip you so they can keep an eye on you. sorry, or sir, you're not that interesting enough
Yeah.
for people who actually want to spy on you. Your life is really boring. So
I think my biggest beef with people who say it's a microchip and they're going to track you, like, what do you think your phone is doing? Like, your phone,
Yes.
it's got
Our
all the
phone hears
information, it's got your
everything.
face. If they wanted
Your
to track
bank
you, they could
details,
do it like in
where
a
you
split
spend your money.
second. Yeah.
Literally,
You've already
the
got a
moment-
tracking device.
Your moment
Yeah.
you were born, you are under control. Like, there's
Yeah.
everyone is accounted for. You have a birth certificate, so you have a piece of paper, you have a
Highly-
piece of legal document every time someone is born.
that's Miss Earth Island. So I'll be interviewing Eileen in about 23 hours' time. Sorry, Danielle, but look, you guys are absolutely right. And the fact that you pointed out that you're tracked through a phone, I mean, you're putting up
That's
social media
ridiculous.
where it's tagged, you've tagged where you are, and you're worried that you're being tracked somehow by a mic.
Yes.
Like, the people that
But
it's the same people that go, oh, it's a microchip. It's like, honey, you're the one that's tagging yourself in Starbucks, babes. We know where you are.
Yeah.
We all know where you are.
But honestly, most of these people who are complaining, their lives are so boring. No one's going to care where they
Yeah.
are anyway.
Yeah.
So that's
It's
and
not as
Louise,
if they're going to single-handedly take down the government. Like, it's just not
Yeah.
going to happen. Like, this person just sitting in their bedroom on their laptop, it's not going to happen.
They don't care about you,
think-
Doris. They don't care.
The Social Dilemma, you know that movie, documentary that came out.
Yes,
I
I watched
can't remember
that.
the exact number, but it was something like fake news spreads like 3 times faster than real news, and I think that's one of the worst things. Like, fake news is always going to exist, you know, conspiracy theorists and stuff, people are always going to believe what they want to believe, but they are so vocal and so loud and so complex now. I find conspiracy theories are a lot more thought out incorrectly, but thought out and really robust. And when they're the people that are putting out all of this information, they're like capturing in, they've spun such a big web that they're capturing in more and more people who are like, oh, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I did see this and I'm just asking questions. And yeah, I think it's the
Trying to
fast,
join
loud
everything together,
spread.
like stuff that's not even related. And
Yeah.
I see a lot of that.
yeah, it's all about selective facts. You pick the ones that support your story, and you ignore all the
you
ones that.
cherry pick them.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of you know, when you go through people's profiles and then they've been on like a rant about something, they've shared an article, see that this backs my idea up, and then it goes, these have been fact checked and it's not true.
I love seeing that fact checked, mostly false, and you're like, oh, you might want to take that down, babe. It's looking pretty bad.
Hey, anyone? Do we have a look at Donald Trump's Twitter feed?
His Twitter feed is so
I love it. I love it.
Every single post.
No, it was that thing that you shared, Meg, about him having that meeting, and I cried and laughed. I don't think I've ever laughed so much.
Total Landscaping was the biggest mess up.
I'm getting a T-shirt. There's a T-shirt called 4 Seasons Total Landscaping, and I'm gonna get that T-shirt. Honestly, hilarious. It literally looked like a. It looked like a dump. It literally looked like they had a meeting in a dump.
There were so many parts to it. Like, who at 4 Seasons Total Landscaping took the phone call and was like, an event? I mean, we do like garden landscaping, but I guess we can put together an event.
Don't forget to mention what it was next to, Meg.
Yeah.
That what, sorry? Oh, it was next to
what it was next
an adult bookstore and across the road from a crematorium. But then I think my favorite part is that the Trump administration doubled down and was like, we 100% wanted to do this. This was the plan. We love 4 Seasons Total Landscaping. Every good American goes here for their needs. And it was like, really? You want to roll with that this was intentional? You think people are believing that this was the intent?
It was the part where the 4 Seasons Hotel tweeted, being like, just to confirm, this is nothing to do with us.
Yeah, Donald Trump, a hotelier his whole life, couldn't even book a hotel for his press conference. And then Biden got announced as president-elect like midway through, and all the reporters who were in this middle of nowhere landscaping store are like running out, being like, I can't believe I wasted my time. It was good. It was funny. It was just the cherry on top, I think.
It's a worry. I've just got Mr. Trump's Twitter feed up in front of me now. Shall we? We'll finish on this. Sorry to get political, guys, but if you have a look at claim is disputed, claim is disputed, claim is disputed. Yeah, it's because the funniest thing to me was when he was tweeting. I think either just before, or just after the election, and he put out 3 or 4 tweets. You know, the ones where he does it in all caps, like he's
all
shouting.
caps,
yeah, and they were all checked. And then at one tweet, he just goes, "What's going on?" in all caps because doesn't understand what's going on. Like, why are all his tweets being deleted or labeled? And he's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, you poor man." Anyway,
bless him.
Yeah, we're going to miss the hand. Go to a period of normalcy.
I'm not gonna lie, I loved his dance moves though. They were so funny.
Oh, when he like shimmies down like this.
Yeah, I love that. It literally makes me smile. Whatever your opinions on the man, like that is a hilarious dance
His favorite
move.
dance move.
I think the best one was, I don't know if it's appropriate to even show you his dance moves, but he does this a lot.
This.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look as good as I think he thinks it looks.
No, don't go there. Chloe showed me that one. That's going to be an image I've forever have to play. Okay, we'll have.
You can't unsee it. You can't unsee it.
Right. Have Donald's Mr. Trump's song play us out.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, Chloe, do you want to thank everyone for their time and play us out?
Thank you, everyone, for your time and tuning into the Pageant Project, Pageants and PJ's podcast.
YMCA.
Okay, guys.
YMCA.
What am I doing?
Oh wait, this way?
Okay, which way is it? It's because we're mirrored. It's Y and
Yeah.
go to your left.
This way.
We'll see you next week.
Hey, it's Adrian again. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to head up to pageantlaunch.com to join the launch team for our pageant review site. All you have to do is enter your email address. It's completely free. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with your friends and follow us on all our socials. Thanks, and see you next time.